Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Taco's Den of Media. This is your host Mike. We're going to jump right into the thick of things and review Duncan Jones's latest movie, Mute. This was a Netflix original and is written by Michael Robert Johnson and Duncan Jones, directed by Duncan Jones, and stars Alexander Skarsgård, Paul Rudd, and Justin Theroux. Alexander Skarsgård plays Leo, a mute bartender who's in love with one of the waitresses there at the bar. She goes missing, and he takes it upon himself to try to track her down and find the love of his life. We also have Paul Rudd, who plays an AWOL American military doctor who's hiding out in Berlin, waiting for a fake paper so he can get back to America. There's been a lot of AWOLs happening lately in the military due to the new Kandahar battles and soldiers wanting to get the hell out of the war. They've been going to places like Berlin and hiding out and just waiting for fake papers. This takes place in a cyberpunk world. It's a very visually stunning movie, and it's a movie that I really wanted to like. I'm a huge fan of Duncan Jones's work, Source Code, Moon, his latest Warcraft. And unfortunately, the start of this movie, I just couldn't get into. I felt pacing was a bit of an issue at the beginning. I felt it was all over the place and really didn't hold my interest till the latter part of the film. I do like the performances in here, though. Alexander Skarsgård is a tremendous physical actor, speaking no dialogue throughout the film, and just playing off the physicality that you would need to play someone who cannot speak. He cannot speak because as a boy he was injured during an accident, and being Amish, his mother would not allow the operation due to their beliefs, so he was rendered a mute from an early age. He's in love with this girl that's a waitress, and like I said, she goes missing, and he goes in search for her, and it kind of follows mainly his story. We also have the story of Paul Rudd's character and his lover, who's also a military doctor, but he's already served his time, so he's actually not AWOL, and he's safe to travel from country to country. Like I said, pacing was an issue for me. Visually stunning movie, well acted. I felt some of the dialogue was a little amateurish at times and didn't really work. But the latter half of the movie is really where it kicks in. Stories intertwine very well, and the editing actually levels itself out in the latter part of the film, and the pacing slows down and doesn't feel all over the place. One downfall I found of the movie that kind of took me out of it was the use of flashbacks. And sometimes the flashbacks were put in such a way where it was hard to tell whether you were watching a flashback or watching the movie. There'd be one scene where someone was doing something, and then it would just cut to a flashback, and if you didn't realize it was a flashback, you would be wondering, well, why are we here? This person was just at this scene, now they're over here, and it got a little confusing in that aspect. The latter half is when everything starts to gel and come together, and I felt that's where the movie really shined. I kind of wish they focused more on the Paul Rudd character and his life, and kind of had the Alexander Skarsgård's character Leo tracing down his love of his life, kind of as a backstory, because I felt that part of the story was least interesting compared to the Paul Rudd character. Because Paul Rudd's character is a bit of a loose cannon. He's not really a nice guy, and I felt there was more interesting plot points and story points going on with that portion of the story. All in all, it was an enjoyable film for the latter part of it. If you can get through the first half, it's a bit over 2 hours. If you can get through the first half of the film, you'll be fine. It starts to pick up in the latter half, and things start to come together to a really good conclusion. I really like the ending to it. It was very, very powerful, and in a way, a little bit bittersweet, but I thought it worked. And that's really what raised my numbers that I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 6.0 out of 10. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it wasn't as good as I was expecting, but I felt it had potential and ended on a good note, and it definitely, like I said, the first half of it just didn't work for me, and I almost gave up on it until the story started to intertwine and pieces of the puzzle started to come together, and that's really where it got very interesting. If you can see it, if you have Netflix, it's on Netflix right now. Definitely check it out, and at least give it your time. Duncan Jones is a really talented writer. He's a really talented director. And like I said, visually, this movie is visually stunning. And I like the look and the feel where they're going to. It kind of had a throwback of kind of like maybe Neuromancer or even back from the games Syndicate. There's a group of people that call it the Syndicate that kind of reminded me people from that video game, and I'm wondering if that was maybe like a little throwback or an Easter egg to that game itself. Let me think what you know in the comments. If you've seen it, if you're going to see it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments. It's glad to be back. Follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. I've got more reviews on the way. I've seen a lot more movies lately, and more reviews will become silly. Just got the new office set up and the new equipment set up, so we're back on track, back on schedule. Peace, people. This is Mike from Tacos Den Media.